Mike Bliss is on the outside of it. He's got a chance to win this race.
He's going to make a race out of it. They come down to the line.
Oh, my goodness, they went through there side by side.
I think Bliss won.
You think right, Bob. Mike Bliss was the hero. Irwin couldn't believe it. And tonight the Silver Crown cars are back for an encore. He meets the leather-clad ladies. I believe that's Tootie and Fruity. Tootie on the left, Fruity on the right. They didn't embarrass him enough for the first kiss, so they said, well, let's go for one more. Kenny turning a pretty shade of pink. You like that? Consider the case of Mike Bliss. Now, this needs a little setup. Jumping on top of your racer and dancing around, there's a great tradition of that. Consider Willie Ribbs. Remember when Willie won the Trans Am Championship, climbed out of the car, jumped on the roof, did the big dance, everybody cheers, he's a happy guy. Darrell Waltrip, victory lane at Daytona, kind of a lame, icky shuffle, but not bad for a guy with a history of broken legs. Then, last week, bump and grind Mike Bliss wins the truck race at Odessa. How about his style as he cuts a rug? Hey, who do you suppose we're going to welcome to the top of the telecast? Bring him on in. Mike Bliss over here, Kenny Irwin Jr. At the top of the show, you saw the spectacular finish they gave us the last time the Silver Crown cars raced here. We got to start with Bliss, of course, because he won that thing. First of all, congratulations on the truck deal. That was a nice shot in the arm and a great victory lane performance.
Yeah, the truck ran really good. The AC Ford was flawless through the whole race, but my dancing's not too good. I need to work on that a little bit.
Well, maybe you get some more practice here tonight. Let's go back and take a look at that great finish from the last Silver Crown race here when Bliss made that amazing charge. That's you up at the back in the pink and the black, and at this point, did you think you were going to be able to pull off this pass?
When the white flag came out, I wasn't sure I could catch him, but that was just a lot of luck. Kenny got held up in traffic. I got sideways, and there was an opening, and I just took it. And a lot of luck, and it was a lot of fun, though.
And so they come bouncing across the finish line with Bliss winning it by about the width of the front tire. Can you do it again tonight?
Well, we're starting a little bit back, but we're going to give it a good shot. But Kenny's strong. He remembers last time here.
Let's talk to Kenny Irwin Jr. He doesn't want to talk about that finish, that ancient history. He lost that race, but tonight, this cat's a fast qualifier. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's, Freddie, we put us on the pole tonight, and, you know, as long as it's different than last time, it's not going to come down to the last lap where he gets by me. We're going to do a lot more than run second, I hope. We'll just see.
Talk to me about the strategy in this race. You got that big 55-gallon drum of fuel following you around early in the race. It's a long race. What's the key to being there on the last lap?
Actually, the brakes are a big deal here, and the tires. Leading the race, it'll make it a lot easier. You won't have to be too hard on the tires. Hopefully, the brakes won't be too bad. If we can get out front, set a good pace, hopefully, I don't think it matters where Mike starts because he's always going to end up at the front.
All right, so these two guys think they may end up again here in victory lane. Good luck to you, Kenny Irwin Jr. We'll be back here at the end of the show to see who's dancing tonight. Right now, it's time to go racing. The top 20 have qualified and are locked in. Everybody else has got to race their way into the main, and that's why you see those race cars on the racetrack right now. To call the action high above Indianapolis Raceway Park, we have Mr. Bob Jenkins, the anchor of Thunder on the Deuce, and the father of the most recent sprint car winner in the state of Indiana, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Rice.
Well, when you get old, Larry, they always think of you as somebody's father.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Hi, everybody, and welcome on behalf of Larry and me to Indianapolis Raceway Park, where we got some excitement tonight. The format, qualifying already taken place. The top 20 are locked into the feature. Kenny, as Dave told you, is at the top of that list. Now we're getting set for the first of two 15-last qualifying races, and the top 5 from each advance, giving us a big 30-car feature for the 100-lap DuPont 100 coming up later tonight on Thunder. Here's the starting lineup for this first qualifying race. Paul Durant will lead him down on the pole. Randy Tolsma alongside. Second row, Donnie Beechler and Bill Rose. The third row, Kenneth Nichols and Jimmy Kite. Donnie Adams and Johnny Heidenreich will start in row number 4. In the fifth row, it's Chet Phillip and Wally Pankratz. Row 6, Richie Larson and Brad Marvel. In the seventh row, Trey House and Don O'Keefe Jr. And back in row number 8 will be Dodie Miller in car number 8. Kenneth Nichols will carry an onboard camera for us in this event.
Yeah, of course, Kenny Nichols has been a long-standing midget guy here at Raceway Park. Won a lot of races. I think this is the first time he's been in this car, if I'm not mistaken. But he's really looking forward to it. I'm sure we're going to go on quite a ride with this little DuPont car.
And also Also in the field tonight is, there's the 51 car of Kenneth Nichols. Right beside him is Jimmy Kite in car number 38. Set to go racing for 15 laps. Top 5 go to the main event. Everybody else loads up and goes home. Here comes Paul Durant and Randy Tolsma leading him down. The green flag flies, and we are racing at Indianapolis Raceway Park on Thunder.
Randy Tolsma got the jump in that black number 53 car. Donnie Beechler in the red number 67 jumped into third. As you saw him go around Paul Durant, who fell back to fourth. He didn't get a very good start at all. And when he got trapped down on that inside lane, he had nothing to do but fall back and hang on.
And Kenneth Nichols has his hands full, battling through the traffic. Bill Rose is up into second position. Well, he was second. Now Beechler goes to the inside of him and puts Bill Rose back to third. Now Beechler sets his sights on the leader of the race, Randy Tolsma, as they go down the backstretch once again. And that's Donnie Adams on the inside and a gaggle of cars beside and back of him.
That is Donnie Adams in that 12 car. The 12 car is the most recent winner. It won the last race at Terre Haute with Kevin Thomas driving it. Now Donnie Adams is going to run it here on the pavement, and he's really working hard on Kenneth Nichols as we look back from Kenneth Nichols' in-car camera.
Going into turn number 3 once again, you see the action behind him.
Well, you saw another car. That was Johnny Heidreich in that yellow car. He got down on the inside of Donnie Adams, got a little bit sideways as they both tried to go for the same hole, but he held on to it. You can see there Heidreich in the yellow car working very hard on Donnie Adams in that Terre Haute First National Bank car.
Now this is the transfer spot. Kenneth Nichols in 5th position as Adams tries to get to the inside. Now Heidreich looks to the inside of Adams, and they come onto the straightaway, and they're side by side back there.
That's Chet Phillip in the black car trying to get around, and Wally Pancratz in that bright orange car with a Green Street Station sponsorship trying to jump into the 5th spot in the last transfer spot.
Well, let's run them down here for you as we watch this action. Randy Tolsma is the leader, then Beechler, then Rose, then Paul Durant, and then back to this battle. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th are running right together on the racetrack, but Kenneth Nichols is doing a nice job of holding off the advances.
And every one of those guys knows that's a transfer spot. Believe me, if they didn't know it, the guys on the radio, the guys in the pits are telling them. Kenneth Nichols seems to be able to get off of the corner very good, but he's not getting into the corner.
Oh, we got a spin. That's Donnie Adams doing a beautiful 360, and he keeps going and only loses about 5 positions, but it's an important 5 positions.
It's an important 5 positions. It's going to pretty much put him out of the hunt. It was a tough break for him. Heidreich just barely touched him as they came off the corner. Got him a little sidewise, and he was his story.
There you can see the big interval that Randy Tolsma has opened up on the rest of the field. Randy is leading this race. He grabbed the advantage from the outside of the front row and has been in the lead ever since. There is 2, 3, and 4. Beechler and Rose, and this is the transfer battle now that becomes a battle between Nichols and Wally Pancratz, who tries to take away 5th position.
And Wally Pancratz did not qualify very good. He started back in the 10th starting position, has moved up. He's probably passed more cars than anybody on the racetrack, now running up in 6th position and ready to work on Kenneth Nichols for that final transfer spot. He is working on him. He's down on the inside.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can. He realizes that if he doesn't get the job done in this race, that it's into the trailer and back to California for Wally.
And it's very difficult to do that much passing in a short race. These cars are very big. This racetrack, there's not as much room in this racetrack for these cars as there would be in a midget. Usually, most of your passing comes after the tires start wearing out. These guys don't have that time to wait. They've got to go for it right now because there's only 15 laps in this whole race.
And there are 10 completed. We've got 5 more to go. And now Wally Pancratz has a challenge from the 37 car of Chet Phillip as Chet looks to the inside, but Pancratz holds him off for the moment. And it looks like that Kenneth Nichols now, Pancratz again begins to move in. You can see behind. Oh, Pancratz a little sideways in the corner.
Yeah, Pancratz lost a little bit of ground there as he got a little bit sideways. He's sponsored partially by a group called Stress Relief Engineering. It does all sorts of things with chassis and so forth out in California. But he's having a lot of trouble with his chassis right now. That maybe looks like she's getting a little bit loose.
Wally Pancratz with a sponsor, Stress Management Engineering. We didn't mention that the last time these cars ran, and I told him I would this time. I hope that he's going to be able to get into the feature, but it doesn't look very good. Chad Phillip with a serious challenge. That's Jimmy Kite in number 38 that's also running in this group of 3.
Jimmy Kite, a young man that came up here, did very well in the midgets, kind of disappeared. He went back down south and running sprint cars down there. He's looking very, very strong right now. He's going to get on the out. Oh, Handcraft's kind of shut the door on him right there.
This time around, the leader of the race, Randy Tolsma, will get the white flag. 1 lap to go, and it does come out. We continue to focus on the real battle of this race, and that is for the 6th position.
And there he goes. Jimmy Kite is going to get around him, but it doesn't leave him very much time. He's got about, 2 or 3 car lengths to make up to try to get around Kenneth Nichols. I doubt if he's got enough time to do that. He's going to have to settle for 6th spot.
Yep, he sure is, and have to settle also for going home. So Randy Tolsma is about to win this first 15-lapper. Checkered flag has come out.
That's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Paul Durant running 4th, Billy Rhodes in 3rd, and of course in 2nd position was Donnie Beechler in that red number 67 car.
So the first 15-lapper is completed, and Randy Tolsma showed some real strength in that event. And although he didn't qualify particularly well, has run well here in this first qualifying race. So he makes it to the feature, and so do 4 others. We've got one more 15-lapper coming up before the big DuPont 100 for the United States Auto Club Silver Crown Division.
For all you knew, they might have been right on top of you if you drove accordingly, right?
Yeah, exactly. We needed to get a good read on the car with the long green run and the nighttime conditions. You don't ever want to run a semi-main event, but in this instance, maybe it'll help us, and we'll get a little better read on the car for the main event. And, Claire Petty gave me the shot in this car, and Sanders Wheels, and just a lot of great people. And Print Express and IWX certainly helped me out. So, this one's for them. We just got one more victory lane we need to get into, and then we'll be in good shape.
We know that you know how to guide one of these things. You got a lot of experience in these cars, but you haven't been doing much of it this year. When you jump into a car like that in a new situation, how long does it take to get all the chemistry working and get everybody talking on the same wavelength and know you've got the potential to go out and win races?
Well, really pretty good. Jim McQueen, who's the crew chief on the car, and I have really gelled well together. We missed in qualifying, which was somewhat of my call. We just opted too long to wait to scrub in a tire, and it kind of bit us. But we got a long ways to go, but it varies. It just depends on the people, and there's a lot of good people involved with this race car, and I'm proud to represent them.
Well, you sure made it look good in that qualifier. Good luck in the feature.
Thank you. We'll need some luck.
We know he's a good-looking guy, and I got 2 more as good-looking or better up in the booth. Let's get a chance to take a look at Bob Jenkins and Larry Rice, and maybe they can tell us who else might be tough tonight, guys.
Well, that was quite a compliment. Thank you very much, David. All of Indianapolis is abuzz with the racing activity that's going on here in the next few days. Capped off, of course, by the Brickyard 400. We've got Silver Crown tonight, the trucks tomorrow night, and the Busch Grand National Series on Friday. Let's talk about who might be strong here tonight, Larry.
Well, there's only been 3 different winners at this racetrack in the last 6 years. John Parsons, who won't be here tonight, his car's not done. Jim Keeker, who's driving a V8 for the 2nd time here at Raceway Park. He didn't qualify all that good. It's going to be tough for him. And, of course, Mike Bliss, who is always tough at this place. I think Kenny Irwin's going to be tough, too, though. He's been tough the last 2 or 3 years here.
It's the 6th race of the season for the USAC Silver Crown cars. They race, of course, on the pavement and the dirt. Kenny Irwin Jr. is in the points lead. Jimmy Sills is 178 back, followed by Darlin, Bliss, and Gurney. Now, some of the others to keep an eye on here tonight. Dan Drynan is making his return to competition, coming back from the injuries he suffered, practicing for the Indianapolis 500. Dave Steele is the 4th fastest qualifier. How about the Foyt cars? Davey Hamilton, and yes, Tony Stewart is here tonight.
And Tony Stewart wants to win, believe me. He wants to win every time he gets in a race car. But he won the championship last year and did not have a victory. Believe me, it hurts him. It's burning at him. He wants to win here tonight. And, of course, it's the first of 3 in a row. He'd like to start a trifecta with a win here tonight.
You bet. He'll also do the trucks and the Busch Grand National race. Well, the top qualifiers tonight, Kenny Irwin Jr. is at the top of that list, but the record is intact. Jim Keeker, who set the record here in 95 of 119.143. Not even close to that tonight. Still, Stewart, Steele, Hodges, and Dan Drynan are the top 6. Well, we have already had some major excitement here tonight before we came on the air. It involved a 77-year-old guy named Crocky Wright, who has been doing this stunt for years, and at this age, he's still at it.
Hey, he was a great motorcycle rider before World War II, and He's still pretty darn good. He ran right through that thing, didn't he?
Unbelievable. It brought the crowd to its feet, and a salute to this guy who is just unbelievable. Ryan Tyler, Tommy Nichols, and Eric Gordon make up row number 2. The third row, Tony Elliott and Bill Bowie. Tice Carlson and Gary Heber start in row number 4. The fifth row is Michael Lang and Chip Thomas. Max Ebaugh and Mike Mosley Jr. comprise row number 6, and back in the back row, Jeff Beck in car 60 and Gus Wasson in number 18. Mike Mosley Jr. Boy, I remember seeing his dad drive many, many races, including at the Indianapolis 500 and just about any kind of open-wheel car. Mike Mosley Sr. was a star in, and his son is hoping to follow in his footsteps.
And ironically, they were driving for the same guy. This is A.J. Watson's car. That's the car that Mike drove for a lot when he ran sprint cars and at Indianapolis both, and was very successful in both of them. A.J., you know, he's not as young as he used to be, and he probably, the engine's not quite as strong as maybe they were 20 years ago, but I tell you what, this Mosley kid gets half a chance. He's going to be pretty decent. I also want to mention this Tommy Nichols in that second row. He's got a new sponsor with Hooters, a corporate sponsor with Hooters, which he's very proud of.
Wow, you bet. All right, let's see how the second 15-lap qualifying race goes. Green flag comes out. Once again, the pole sitter drops back considerably at the start of the race, and it looks like the 5 car of Tyler has taken off.
Now, they got a good start. The outside starting position is the preferred starting position. So Tyler and Gordon were the first 2 into the first corner. It's very hard. And look, that car running in third, which is really sideways. Doesn't look like he's getting very good. That's Tommy Nichols, and it looks like that thing's really, really loose down through the corner.
And Tony Elliott is running in the 4th position there in the 61 car, and behind him would be the
78 car, Bill Bowie. That's Bill Bowie. Interestingly enough, the 78 car is built. Bill Bowie built that car himself down at the competition welding shop. So not very many times anymore do drivers build their own race cars, but in this case, he did that.
Remember, the top 5 transfer right now. Bowie in 78 is in the 5th spot. Right ahead of him is Tony Elliott, the white number 61. Tice Carlson is in 6th right now, and outside trying to get in.
Yeah, he's going to have to step it up just a little bit, because the first 4 or 5 guys have pulled away. And it seems like they're in groups of 2 as they pulled away. There's Elliott, there's Bowie running 4th and 5th right now. Bowie hanging on to his coattails, trying to see if there's a way he can just get 1 more position, just that little bit of cushion, so he knows he's going to make the race.
2 and 3 are running together. 4 and 5 are running together. Same can't be said for the leader of this race. There is Brian Tyler entering turn number 1, and you can see the advantage he has over this second place battle.
Eric Gordon doing a good job in that yellow number 25 car, Glenn Idle, the Bowes Chevrolet car, and right behind him is Tommy Nichols. Tommy Nichols, the kid, was a WKA karting champion back in the late 80s, moved on up into the bigger cars and doing a nice job.
And third. Comes from Tampa, Florida, which is Dave Steele country.
Exactly. A lot of these, see, down in that part of the country, one of only 2 or 3 areas in the country that runs non-wing sprint cars. It gives them good experience. And here comes Mike Mosley.
And he's got a flat right rear tire, it looks like, Larry.
Yeah, he's going to end his chances, it looks like.
That is too bad. He pulls down on the apron of the racetrack. No yellow yet. The car is on the racing surface, and also Tice Carlson is out of the race. He's behind the wall, and there is Mike Mosley's car that is stopped, and the yellow flag now comes out, and there's the flat right rear.
Yeah. Well, Mike did, unfortunately for him, he lost the lap. If he had stopped that car right away, if he had been in a position to stop it where they could have changed the tire, he might have got back out without that, but he's going to have to lose the lap and be out of here now.
6 laps have been completed out of 15.
Number 5 car is the car owned by Jack Steck. You remember him? He's the guy that these guys over in the East Coast, Winco, Charlie Stapleton, some of these guys got together, bought the car and gave it to Jack Steck. Jack Steck, his car died. Benny Leva, he didn't have anything to run, so they just bought the car, gave it to him, said go race it. He's been doing it ever since, and obviously doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, at the end of 1 lap, he stretched it out a little bit on the field, but Gary Heber is definitely the guy to watch. There he is in number 66, and he's putting all kind of heat on Bowie, but look at Bentley Warren, who's also putting heat on on Heber.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bentley Warren, we knew he was going to be a Charger. Start back there in the back. Tough luck for him, have to get that thing started like that. But both of those guys are going to be really putting the heat here on Tony Elliott and Bill Bowie. They better have their lunches packed. They want to keep those two back there.
Bentley Warren in the black number 29 at the tail end of that group of 4 cars. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th here.
Okay, Heber's trying to get him set up. He went in a little high, tried to diamond down under him right there. Didn't have enough momentum. But once again, he's going to try to go in, run a little bit higher than he is, turn the car and come down off the corner. Can't quite do it, though. Bowie's just running pretty darn good. He just can't get enough speed to get around.
Yeah, Bowie is running well. He got the car a little bit sideways last time coming off the 4th corner, allowing Heber to look to the inside, but he could not make the pass this time. Drives the car straight off the corner, and there are 5 more laps to go.
You can see Bentley Warren back there. He's smoking that right rear tire in that black number 29 because he's trying to get her down to the bottom of the racetrack. It just won't stick down.
And now Heber will try to go up top. Nope, that's not going to work.
Now he's going to try to diamond down off the bottom. No place to go. Just the racetrack just isn't wide enough. He doesn't. Oh, he gets real sideways there.
Boy, he was completely sideways. And Bentley Warren saw that and said, maybe I can make the pass. But no, he did not.
I got to say that Boston Louis Seymour, the owner of Bentley Warren's car, he hasn't been feeling real well. We want to say hi to him. We know he's out here in Indiana. I'm not sure whether he's here at the racetrack tonight, but we want to say hi to him. Hope he's feeling better.
There are 3 more laps to go, and they remain in the same order up front. It is Brian Tyler, Eric Gordon, and Tommy Nichols running in the first 3, and then we get back to 4th place Tony Elliott, 5th place Bill Bowie, Gary Heber, and Bentley Warren. And boy, I tell you, Heber is just trying everything he can, but...
Oh, no, Tommy Nichols has tough luck. He blows an engine. He has to pull down the inside. Meantime, Gary Heber is the big loser, and Bentley Warren is the big winner. He goes all the way from 6th up to 5th, and this thing almost gained another spot. Heber's on the inside. Oh, the yellow flag is out. That's going to be a tough break for Bentley Warren, because I think that'll put him back a spot.
And a real tough break for Tommy Nichols, who was looking very, very good, but all of a sudden, the big puff of...
So he's got to protect that position. That's what he's doing, although it looks like he might be trying to make a pass.
Yeah, Heber sets his sights on Bill Bowie, who's running in 4th spot, but now Bentley Warren tries to get to the inside. Can't do it. Again, watch for the transfer spot. Bentley goes for it into turn 3 and cannot make it. Cannot hold on to the car. Slides a little high. Here's the checkered flag, and Gary Heber makes the show, and Bentley Warren does not.
Tough break for Bentley Warren. He gave it everything he had, as we see Brian Tyler going around there. A nice victory for him. He was so far out front, we never got to see much of him, but tough break for Bentley Warren, because he gave her the old college try on that last corner. Almost slid into Gary Heber, but both those guys did a nice job. You see those flames coming out there? Nothing to worry about, just a little rich, guys.
Just raw fuel burning out of the exhaust pipe, that's all. And Brian Tyler has easily found his way to victory lane. And Dave Despain will be back to talk with him, the winner of our 2nd qualifying race. That will happen in just a
Brian
moment.
Tyler, as he has won the 2nd of the last chance races here over Eric Gordon, Tony Elliott, Bill Bowie, and Gary Heber. Heck of a race back there for the transfer. Brian Tyler missed the whole thing. Maybe one key to victory here tonight is have a black race car. That's the 2nd one we've seen in victory lane, but I think the guy driving it had a little to do with that one. That was a nice run. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Obviously, since last we spoke, you've become the sprint car point leader. How much experience do you have in these Silver Crown cars, and how much different are they?
I haven't had a lot of experience, really. I've probably run maybe 6, 8 shows. Got a hold of Jack Steck here a little while ago, and he decided to put me in the car. They're a little bit heavier and a little under horsepower compared to a sprint car, but as far as the lines you run here at IRP, it's about the same.
The difference in the race length, obviously, is pretty significant. You got 100 laps in the main event. How do you play that? What's your goal, and how do you get to the goal?
Get to the front as quick as I can and save my tire the best I can.
Sounds like a game plan to me. Congratulations on the win. I told you he was the sprint car point leader. What do you say we go to the proverbial videotape and take a look at this guy's performance during Indiana Sprint Week when he took over the USAC sprint car point lead? Bob Jenkins has the story.
The first night, Friday, the venue was Bloomington Speedway, where some rather famous Kinzers cut their racing teeth. The strong season Jason McCord was having came to a crashing halt in the semi-feature when he went high to avoid Doug Coletta and flipped over the banking. A broken shoulder blade will keep him out of action for a while. He was 5th in points going into the event. He wasn't the only one in the top 5 who had problems. second place Doug Kalita failed to make the main event after this incident in the semi. 30-lap feature, Kevin Thomas in the white number 3 stalked Tony Elliott in red until the 22nd lap. When Elliott got hung up behind the slower car of Brett Poole, Thomas took advantage by moving up a lane and a position. Kevin cruised to victory, his second in the Stoops Freightliner Series in '96. He won earlier this year in Terre Haute. David McCreary can tell you how tough Evans Kokomo Speedway is. He would not be able to compete in the Sprint Week Finals Sunday night. We saw that Dave Steele in number 14, although more at home on pavement, isn't afraid to ride the cush on dirt. He finished third in this heat race ahead of Derek Davison in 17, Stan Burrow, and Kevin Thomas in 3. And fresh off his first win the previous night in a non-sanctioned race, young Robbie Rice, Larry's son. Some don't do that again kid advice from Tony Elliott. The main event was being led by Brad Marvel as Thomas tried to pass. Behind them, Tony Jarrett got into trouble, and Brian Hayden and Rice were also involved. Robbie got his bell rung, but was okay. Sometimes the high road at Kokomo is best, but not on this particular night. Marvel led the entire distance, but the 3-night series champion was Kevin Thomas. Oh, by the way, Brad Marvel is the son of USAC's Phil Marvel. Nice going there, son. The series sure changed the point standings. Brian Tyler now 80 better than Kalita.
These the new Nike shoes you were telling me about last week?
Yeah, Juwan Howard. You're more up-tempo.
Man, last time I saw Juwan.
Ooh, you see that boy? Yeah, he was taking care of business. He had that power dunk, no-look pass, and he buried this 12-footer. All inside 5 minutes. So, what do you think?
Nobody gets you closer to the game than Foot Locker, where it all begins.
Jesse, you're next.
I'm all yours.
Save it for the stage, Romeo.
Carol always gives it to me straight. Like when she told me about my...
I told him about Head & Shoulders. Regular shampoos just rinse flakes away so they could come back. Head & Shoulders helps prevent flakes from even forming. You see the difference? You look great.
Thanks, but will it get me this part?
Couldn't hurt.
Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
Hey, break a leg.
It's just about race time at IRP. The DuPont 100 for the USAC Silver Crown cars. It's ESPN2's Thunder. Well, we brought you up to date on what's been happening in the sprint cars. Now let's check the midgets. They're headed to Belleville. Along the way, they've made a few stops. 2 nights in Lincoln, Nebraska. And last night, they were in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the first time since '77.
In the first heat, Jeff Sands leads over Scott Hansen. How's the traction up top? Insufficient. Sands spins. The unfortunate Gary Howard not only finds himself with nowhere to go, but winds up on his head. In the feature, Carl Olson and Dave Strickland Jr. lead the field to turn 3. Everybody hugging the bottom now, but behind them, David Bridges and hard luck Steve Barth run out of room to race. Now watch Kenny Irwin Jr. on the outside. Fast qualifier taking the lead from Olson and Lycan the top. Meanwhile, number 11, Kevin Doty, threaded the needle here, tiptoed through traffic the whole way, and came from 8th to finish 2nd. But nobody could deal with Irwin, whose win on dirt padded his point lead and provided the opportunity to meet these 2 leather-clad lasses. Appropriate blushes clearly visible to those of you watching on those newfangled color television sets. Oh, wait, Kenny's not embarrassed enough. Yeah, they're going to do it again. On the national midget scene, Irwin leads now from Tracy Hines by 74 points. There's the rest of the top 5. Let's take a quick look out west where the Western States midget points show Jay Drake taking the advantage away from Billy Boat by a narrow 9 points. And East will meet West at the Belleville Nationals starting tomorrow, continuing through Saturday in Kansas. First time the Belleville Nationals have run with USAC sanction. Should be good.
And it's the 19th annual Belleville Nationals. Kenny Irwin, who is on the pole here for this event, will be going out there along with many of the others. After that, they go to Lakeside Speedway, Kansas City on the 9th, and I-70 Speedway in Odessa on the 10th, and then head back here to more close home territory. Now the cars are on the racetrack and they're getting lined up. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be ready for the start of the DuPont 100 on ESPN2's Thunder Series. Stay with us. A lot of exciting racing action coming up.
Silver bullets that ship cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Good boy.
Look for the new Coors Light wide mouth can with a giant opening for a smoother pour.
At Citgo, when you team up our super premium gasoline with our Super Guard motor oil, you'll get all the high performance and reliability you demand. So, prepare yourself to be totally blown away. Super premium performance. Citgo says go.
So you have tried to navigate an online service before. There is an easier way. Wow, a new online service from CompuServe. Try it free. You can get lost exploring the internet. But with WOW, it's easy to find your way home. WOW, a new online service from CompuServe. Try it free.
Most feature wins in this series that we're seeing compete here tonight. Jack Hewitt. Chuck Gurney is second on the list, and 3 make that 4 of these guys are in the race here tonight.
Yes, and of course, Jimmy Sills and Mike Bliss down there with 7 apiece are going to be 2 tough cookies to beat.
And carrying the onboard camera, 1 of 3 that we will have active here tonight, Jack Hewitt will be starting in 14th position. A great shot. Should be a lot of action from that particular vantage point tonight. Well, let's check the starting lineup now and see who's starting where. Kenny Irwin Jr. is on the pole, and Jimmy Sills will start alongside. Tony Stewart and Dave Steele comprise row 2. The third row, Rocky Hodges and Dan Drinan. Fourth row, Davey Hamilton and Robbie Flock. Ryan Newman and Pat Abolder in row 5. The sixth row, Mike Bliss and Steve Barth. Row 7, Mishner and Hewitt. In the 8th row, Dave Darlin and Jim Keeker. Row number 9, Gary Irvin and Jackie Burke. The 10th row, Tracy Hines and Chuck Gurney. Now those who made it in through the qualifying races. Randy Tolzman, Brian Tyler. 12th row, Donnie Beechler and Eric Gordon. In the 13th row, Andy Mishner and Tony Elliott. Row number 14, Paul Durant and Gary Heber. The 15th row, Kenneth Nichols and Bill Bowie. And we are just about set to go in about a lap and a half from right now.
Yeah, and here's Danny Drinan, the 23 car. This guy, after all the tough breaks he's had, he's 1993 Valvoline, Jimmy Crothers award winner. But I'll tell you what, after that crash at the Speedway, a lot of guys didn't think this guy was going to be back for a year or more. He worked very hard. He went through rehab. He's worked every day on that hip, trying to get it working again so he can get back in a race car. That was his whole goal, and this is his first outing. 100 laps is a long race to break your hip in, so to speak.
That's for sure. Mike Bliss, you know his performance here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. He has won 2 races this year in this series, including 1 here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and there's a bonus, a $10,000 bonus if he can win here tonight.
Corinne Express put up the money. They could not buy insurance. You know, hole-in-one insurance, they tried to buy a policy. But Bliss had been so dominant here that nobody would insure it. So good old Randy Steenbergen from Corinne Express says, I'm a gambler, I'll put her up.
Here we go, the DuPont 100 underway from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Oh, and Jimmy Sills got real squirrely going down that main straightaway. He was doing tank slappers all the way down there, but got it under control, and it could have been real bad if he had got just a little bit more sideways. In front of the field, we got a big crash back here coming off the 2.
2 cars, at least 2 cars. We'll make that 3, 4, maybe even 5 cars involved in this incident on the backstretch, and the caution flag comes out. We got cars everywhere.
Looks like Gary Irvin and Jim Keeker up against the wall. Oh. There's Gary Heber down on the inside. So they hit the butt end of that wall. Looks like he hit a wall down there. Hit it pretty hard. That's Gary Heber in the 66 car. He's out of the car.
I don't know who they're attending to. Can you see the number on that car?
No, I can't. I think that might be Bill Rose.
Yeah, I think
it looks like Bill Rose's car, the 27 car.
I think he is the one that perhaps took the most serious shot. There is Gary Irvin on the outside of the track, and you're right. It is Jim Keeker, and so one of the guys that we talked about early about how he has been one of 3 drivers who have won every race here in the last 6 years. He's not going to win tonight.
No, I sure isn't. And I know that all these guys, I happen to be a little out at one of the shops. Gary Irvin, this Dean Gibbs, has worked on this race car for 2 or 3 weeks now, trying to get it ready, and then he didn't even make it a half a lap until he crashed. And I'm sure there's some of the other guys, or most of these guys, have all done pretty much the same thing. You can see them there attending to Bill Rose, trying to get his helmet out. They're talking to him there. They've got the ambulance on his way. But he obviously took the bad end of he hit the blunt end of that wall down there, and then Gary Heber came along and hit him again. So there's a lot of hard action. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened. Back in the middle of the pack, looked like somebody got turned sideways. You can see the sparks flying, and he heads up the racetrack. That's Gary Irwin sliding up the racetrack. He collects Jim Keeker, car backwards. And you can see down here, oh yeah, he hit that cement wall. That's what really hurt him. He hit that cement wall down there. He hit it very, very hard.
And the red flag is coming out. The race is being stopped to clean up the debris and to get everything back in racing condition. The red comes out after 2 laps of our race. So we'll hope that Bill Rose is okay. He's getting out of the car.
Yes, he is. That's good. That's good news to see him getting out of that thing, because he took a hard lick, and they were very, very careful with his neck. You can see them there talking to him, trying to make sure it was okay. But to see him climb out is very, very good news.
Bill Rose, who's been a regular in the sprint cars in the United States Auto Club for the last few years.
And he's really had a lot better luck in the last few weeks. He'd had a tough first part of the season. He won a couple of races here recently.
Let's go down to Dave Despain.
Billy Rose has climbed out of the car. As you saw, the medical personnel are with him. He asked us to hold off a minute and talking to him. He appears to be okay, but he took a pretty good shot. They checked him over very carefully in the car, and then he said, let me out of this thing, and he climbed out, and he's now in the ambulance and is going to be taken over for the rest of a precautionary check, but he appears to be okay. A quick indication is that all the other drivers are okay. We haven't had a chance to get to all of them yet. We'll do that and get back to you.
Bill Rose was a 1993 Sprint Car Most Improved Driver as far as this year. His best finish in the Silver Crown Division was 17th out of the Indiana State Fairgrounds during the month of May. We'll take a break under this red flag here at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Explosive.
Hello, Cody and Fernandez Insurance. How may I help you?
Cody and Fernandez Insurance wants to help you understand your auto insurance. They'll make sure that you have the proper coverage and that you're receiving all the discounts you're entitled to. They offer evening or Saturday appointments for your convenience, either at your home, business, or in their office. They offer free registry service, low down payments, and quotes over the phone. Cody and Fernandez, serving Massachusetts and Rhode Island, located between Shaw's and Stop and Shop on Fall River's south side.
Now, from the heart of the jungle, you can bring the new Ace to your place. It's primal.
Alrighty then.
It's wild. I must apologize. It's savage. It's uncivilized.
Hey, Uncle! Hey, Uncle!
It's Jim Carrey. Own Ace Ventura when nature calls on video.
Now available at Nap Video.
You're right. The way to do it is take the body out and the head's going to fall. You got to rip. You got to dig.
Michael Clark battles Maura Lucero Sunday at 9 on ESPN2.
Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, it takes a real hit to knock over that much concrete, but that's what Bill Rose did when he slid down into it coming off of corner number 2.
Yes, he certainly did. You can see that really damaged that wall, damaged his race car very badly. And I tell you what, it's the sudden stop that hurts you. We talk about that all the time. You do a NASCAR, I know, when they hit the walls. That's what really hurts, and that's what jarred him so badly. Luckily, with all the protection, the neck collars, the shoulder harness and so forth, he was able to climb out of the car, and I'm sure he'd be plenty sore for little boy tomorrow, though.
Well, we have another angle for replay, and we can see the impact with even...
You see Irwin up there. He's backed into the wall already. Now, down on the bottom, watch this. Man, he hit that thing. That baby, that looks like one of those dummy tests they see on TV where the dummies run into the wall and they test to see how far out of the car they flow. I mean, that's what that baby looks like. Man, he hit that wall.
He hit it absolutely head on, didn't he?
Yes, he certainly did.
And then along came Gary Heber and gave him a bump in the back end of the car.
Yeah, see, they were down there in the dirt. They just couldn't do anything.
And that's no temporary wall either. That's a solid
that's a solid wall. That was a permanent wall. It's a new wall they just put in this year. Man. And he hit that baby a ton. They're going to have to put her in again.
Yeah, he's a very, very lucky man. Dave?
The drivers are okay. Everybody else except Rose, who is being checked over, but climbed out and said he was okay. Take a look at this mess. This wall that you were talking about used to sit at an angle something like this to protect this pit road entrance here, which is really the escape road off the racetrack. It's actually the turn into Victory Lane. He hit it head on, as you saw, spun it around this way, did the damage that we saw to the car. Amazingly, Rose climbed out under his own power, said, I'm fine, take me in and check me over if you have to. I'm okay. The car is not. The rest of the drivers are okay. We're still under a red flag. We'll get him back in the seat and ready to go.
But 5 cars were involved in the incident, and none will be able to restart, we assume, because there's a lot of damaged equipment back there. The field awaits the signal to fire up and get going again. We await that, too, here at IRP. Back with more USAC Silver Crown action in just a moment.
And the Budweiser IndyCar. Hot enough for you?
Now, there's a brand new motor oil made to handle the stresses on your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-road driving. Extreme temperatures. Especially towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get a synthetic blend that can take the punishment. 4x4. It's new from Quaker State. The intelligent oil for hard-working engines.
You may have survived Cleveland. You may have escaped from New York. But this is L.A. This city can kill anybody.
You're really beginning to annoy me.
On August 9th, plan your escape.
Hey, One Eye.
Call me Snake.
Kurt Russell.
Nobody draws until this hits the ground. You ready?
Escape from L.A.
Draw.
Rated R. Plan your escape. Friday, August 9th.
Question. What do you call hockey when the ice melts?
Roller Hockey International. All the action. Polar ice.
We're back live at Indianapolis Raceway Park. A big wreck and a red flag. The Thunderheads await the restart of this race, and they're going to be jammed in here the next 2 nights for trucks and Busch Grand National cars. Let's get up to date on what's been happening on those fronts coming into the IRP weekend. Number 2, Mike Bliss will tell you I-70 Speedway, Odessa, Missouri is one of those slippery joints where saving tires is the key to victory. That's assuming that you don't get the rubber side up in the air, as Bob Keselowski did, and miss your chance to be part of the last lap fun. When Bob's Dodge got into the wall, the laws of physics took over and put the black 29 on its roof. Small consolation that it bounced back onto its wheels at the end. The good news is Bob's okay. At the end of the race, Bliss had the best rubber on the road and led the point leader, number 16, Ron Hornaday, and defending series champ number 3, Mike Skinner, to the checkered flag. It was Bliss's 2nd win of the season, the 3rd of his career. Crew chief Barry Dodson added the Gatorade shower. Thus, Mike Bliss comes to tomorrow night's ESPN show as the most recent winner in the series. Cummings 200, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, ESPN. Let's talk Busch Grand National action. Last Saturday, Talladega, Rodney Combs wound up on one of the flatbeds. Another of them rear-ended Dale Jarrett. How the heck does that happen? Thunder graduate Tony Stewart's misstep left Mark Martin limping and a little unhappy. Martin was the early leader until Tony shoved him into the wall. Mark came back a little sore, but still fast, and ran third on Sunday. Now, I'm no diving analyst, but I think this is a full gainer. Todd Bodine got the wheels back on the ground in time to clobber the wall. Roof flaps help at the 200-mile-an-hour tracks, but they're not foolproof. At those speeds, the wind still does strange and terrifying things. Todd, okay. The finish, well, that was Greg Sachs holding off Joe Nemechek and Randy LaJoie. First win for Greg since he climbed in Gary Bechtel's car. Friday night, those cars come here to IRP. Kroger 200, 9 Eastern on ESPN.
That's what you have to look forward to the next couple of nights. Might mention the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will open its 97 season at Walt Disney World Speedway in Orlando on January the 18th, an event being promoted by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Events Department, so we'll look forward to that. The cars have been refired. We mentioned that there is one driver who is indeed going to compete in all 3 races here at Indianapolis Raceway Park tonight, tomorrow, and the next night. That is Tony Stewart. Tonight in the DuPont 100, tomorrow his first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start in the Cummins 200, and then his 7th NASCAR Busch Series start at the Kroger 200 here on Friday night. Dave, how's Bill Rose doing?
Bill Rose doing pretty well for a guy who took the lick that he just took. You've all had a chance to see it. He hasn't had a chance to see it yet. Do you want to see that?
I don't know. It feels like my neck's about 2 foot long after hitting that.
Well, they say it's the sudden stop that hurts. Where do you hurt the worst?
Just my neck's a little stiff. That's all. I just kind of got the wind knocked out of me.
Did you see it coming? I mean, did you know what you were going to hit? Did you get time to hunker down at all, or did it happen too fast?
Yeah, I seen it coming. Actually, I tried to turn to get on the inside of the wall, but as soon as I got in the grass, it was just a straight shot right to it. I'm not sure. The 87 car got crossed up, I think, what I seen, and then I started down below him, and I don't think it hit me or what, but all of a sudden it just straight to the wall.
But you're okay. Did you ever take a harder lick than that?
Not head on like that, I haven't. Got turned over before, but not like that.
I think that's enough. Let's don't do that anymore, all right?
No, that hurts. Thank you very much.
All right. Billy Rose is okay, and we're happy to report that. We're going to get in a commercial break, and then we'll come back and resume the action here. I told you when they dropped the green flag on these Silver Crown cars, things would get crazy. Stay with us.
Don't worry, love. You're riding in the world's first sport utility wagon.
I am.
That's right. This is the all-wheel drive Subaru Outback.
That's great.
You know, it's got more cargo space than a Passport.
Uh-huh.
The ground clearance of an Explorer.
Yeah, but...
Oh, did I mention it gets much better gas mileage than a Jeep Cherokee?
Outback, you say?
Subaru Outback. The world's first sport utility wagon.
Now batting, Ken Griffey Jr. Oh, boy, Griffey takes a close one.
I feel a lot of love in the park today.
What makes Ken Griffey so sweet?
You know, you should smile more.
It's got to be the sweet-tasting cereal, Honey Frosted Wheaties. Frosted Flakes kicked with Wheaties energy for a grand slam taste.
Hey! Well, a little club soda, take that right out.
Honey Frosted Wheaties, it's sweet energy.
Firestone has developed a new tire technology so advanced they use it on Indy cars in the worst possible condition, the rain. And if it can handle 172 miles per hour wet, 55 is a piece of cake. Introducing the Firehawk Sc50, made possible by Unity, our ultimate tire technology, and by a tread patterned after our original Firehawk Indy rain tire, the Firehawk Sc50, for the rain, for the road.
Just about to get back into action here with 2 laps completed. Kenny Irwin Jr. the leader over Jimmy Sills, Tony Stewart, Dave Steele, and Rocky Hodges. Good news for Jackie Berg, one of the 5 cars involved in the incident over their backstretch. He will be able to restart, but Irvin, Keeker, Rose, and Heber will not.
Now, it's a tough break for those guys. And like I said, everybody works so hard. There's only about 10 races a year for these Silver Crown cars. They work so hard. And a guy, case like Gary Irvin, he only runs the pavement. So there's only 4 races for him. And Jim Keeker as well. So those 2 guys had 1/4 of their season knocked out on the first lap.
Everybody is getting refired here, and they are continuing to do just a little bit of work back there in the backstretch to make sure that there isn't a sharp edge on the end of the wall now that's on the inside of the racetrack that Bill Rose hit. And they're moving along quite quick. They're putting up some tires, as you can see, to soften the blow.
Right, they're trying to put up the barrier. They don't want any, you don't want any blunt ends facing them. They had that wall angled. Obviously, it did its job. It stopped getting into the light poles and stuff. But now then they're putting up tires in there to soften the blow. And, you know, all that sort of stuff. When you hit something like that, even those tires, no matter what little amount of cushioning it looks like those might be, they really do absorb a lot of energy. And when you absorb energy, it really makes life on the driver a lot easier.
2 laps to go before we get the green flag, and I'm also being shown that Gary Irvin, who was up against the outside wall there by Jim Keeker, has also made what repairs there were to do to his car, and he is back out there on the racetrack. So we have 2 of the 5 back in.
That is good luck for him, too. As we said, I happen to know that those guys worked long and hard on that race car. Dean Gibbs and all the guys did a lot of work to get that thing ready, and I can see something dragging down there on the left-hand side, though, which is not too good a news. I'm not sure exactly what that was, but it appeared to be something that might be dragging already, which would not be good news for him.
Well, at the drop of the green flag, Larry, we saw Kenny Irwin Jr. move out quickly to the lead, and Jimmy Sills had all kinds of trouble when the green flag dropped.
Right. Jimmy Sills just absolutely come off of that corner. He got sideways, and I call them tank slappers, and that means that the thing is just going back and forth. The back end keeps going from side to side to side to side. And usually when those start, they keep getting worse and worse, and the guy finally spins. Jimmy Sills did a terrific job, especially when you consider that there's about 400 pounds of fuel hanging after those wheels. There's, you know, 70-gallon tanks. They probably got at least 60 gallons in them. So when that back end gets out there and that big, long back end gets to swinging around, it's tough to keep it going straight.
All right, here we go. About to resume our event. 2 laps have been completed. Green flag comes out. Back to racing. This time Sills with a much better start and keeps within a car length of the leader, Kenny Irwin Jr., as the rest of the field moves through the corner. And now Sills, in fact, challenges Irwin for the lead there on the low side. However, could not make the pass, and now he is indeed being passed by Tony Stewart.
Yes, and when you move down and leave a lane open like that to a guy like Tony Stewart, you're asking to get passed, and that's exactly what happened. And not only did he get passed by Stewart, but he also left the gate open for David Steele. David Steele took advantage of it and won around too. So that move to the bottom, it was a good move. It was a smart thing to do, as you heard him say earlier. He wanted to get out front so he could save his tires. Well, he didn't make it, and it cost him 2 spots.
So Dave Steele moves into the 3rd position as Jimmy Sills runs 4th, and Rocky Hodges is in 5th position as the tread cam is hard at work, and the field passes over after the completion of 4 of the laps. Kenny Irwin Jr. opens up about a 5-car length advantage, but Tony Stewart closes in just a little bit in turns 3 and 4.
David Steele hanging right on there. Jimmy Sills running back in 4th position. Rocky Hodges instead of running in 5th. All these guys right now just kind of hanging on. They want to keep their distance. They want to keep in touch, but they don't want to actually wear their tires out. David Steele right there, something happened to him. He lost a lot of ground very, very quickly.
He sure did. Got out of the throttle or something. In any case, Jimmy Sills just shot to the inside and took away the 3rd position from Dave Steele. And now the 6th car of Rocky Hodges begins to move in, and Dan Trinan is right behind there in the black with yellow numerals.
He certainly is. Hodges now trying to get around. Down on the inside, that's Robbie Flock. On the outside, the yellow numbered car trying to go around the outside of Hodges. That's Dan Trinan, and it looks like he's got the line. Oh, man, he cut right down in front of Hodges there, but took over the next spot, took over 3rd spot.
Tony Elliott pulls in the backstretch. He appears to be out of the race. Dan Trinan has lost none of his nerve or racing ability with a nice move there in turn 1.
He certainly has not. He did exactly what he had to do. Made a nice move and pulled right into 4th spot. going to try to chase down your front runners now.
The question is, what happened there, or the moment, to Dave Steele, who has lost several positions? Now, that's Davey Hamilton in the 111 car, the other car owned by A.J. Foyt and George Snyder, who is trying to pick up some positions back there. Would Dave Steele intentionally allow himself to lose 3 or 4 positions this early in the race?
It's much, much too difficult in these kind of cars to gain positions back. You don't want to lose any positions. You want to stay up as front as far as you absolutely can. So he didn't do that intentionally. He's developed either a loose or a push condition. Can't really tell by looking at the race car. But he's developed some sort of a handling problem, and it's caused him to slow way, way down.
Rocky Hodges more at home on dirt than he is on pavement, but doing a nice job. This is Jack Hewitt. As we have the onboard camera with him, he's running in 13th position and trying to move up.
It is won by Steele. That was Steele he went by, and Steele slowed way down the backstretch. He's pulling into the inside of the racetrack, and whatever his problem it has been, it's gotten much, much worse. But look at Hamilton on the inside of Rocky Hodges. Almost got around him, but had to back out.
Hamilton looks to the inside down the backstretch. Well, a tough break for Dave Steele, who came into this race in 7th position, but the car has certainly lost the handle after a good early run. Now, up front, it is still Kenny Irwin Jr. who is leading. That's the interval between first and second, as Tony Stewart has the second spot. There they are.
Boy, Stewart is really right on his bumper. He's not letting him get away. He's following him around here. He hasn't made any attempts to pass. He knows as long as he's right on him, he might get a break later on in the traffic where he doesn't have to use his tires up. Both these guys very, very conscious that the fact that your tires have to maintain. You cannot wear them out. You cannot loosen them. You can't slide them around, or you got nothing left for the last 20, 30 laps of the race. Both these guys know that. They're both quite content right now just to run around there and leave the field in the dust, quite honestly.
Dave, what happened to Tony Elliott? We saw him pull in over the backstretch a few laps ago.
Something broke in the steering. He said it was dangerous, no chance. Pulled it in before he hit something. Steering broke.
All right, so Tony Elliott out of competition. Tony Stewart continues to stalk Kenny Irwin. Tony Stewart is 25 years old, of course, from Rushville, Indiana. What a job at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this year, winning Rookie of the Year honors, and is the defending champion of the Silver Crown Series. As you mentioned, Larry, not a victory last year, but walked away with the championship, and Jack Hewitt is still pursuing out there on the racetrack. Who's in front of him there?
Well, that looks like Andy Mister right there in front of him. That's Gary Irvin on the inside. They're lapping down there. It's Mister that's directly in front of him, and then Rocky Hodges, I believe, is right in front of him. So Rocky Hodges has dropped back a few positions. Andy Mister drops to the bow him, trying to get around Rocky Hodges. And Hewitt just following both of these guys. He can't go either way right now. He's going to just follow.
They go wheel to wheel into the corner, and Michener comes out with the advantage. And now Hewitt has to lock up the brakes to keep from hitting.
He had to get on the brakes. You can see that Rocky Hodges has developed a terrible push condition. The car will not turn. See right there, sliding right straight out?
Yep.
Wheels turn hard left. It just will not turn, and that's what's allowing everybody to go around him.
Well, that was a perfect example of what they call a push. The car just wouldn't turn despite how hard he cranked it. It just shot up the banking, and Jack Hewitt was right there to turn left and pick up the position on Rocky.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Rocky Hodges. He'd been running very, very good until that point, but he's right now fallen way, way back.
Up front, it is still Irwin, pursued by Tony Stewart. Those two have opened up quite an advantage on the third-place car of Jimmy Sills. In fact, it's almost a full straightaway advantage that these two have over third place.
Yeah, they certainly have. And as I said, right now, Tony Stewart is more than happy to follow Kenny Irwin around the racetrack. He knows he doesn't have to pass it. This racetrack is only 20 laps old. He's still got 80 laps to go, and as long as he's that close, as long as he knows he can keep up and not get in any trouble, he'll wait for traffic or wait for some other sort of a problem as we see a couple of cars heading for the pits down there.
Kenny Irwin Jr. on top of the point standings, but his best finish this year was second here at Raceway Park and also in Richmond, the race we televised there. We'll take a break and be back with more of the DuPont 100.
When your world is great, take off from the everyday. Catch some rays and get your shrimps away. Gotta get a little Long John down. It's
It's our new shrimp sampler for $2.99. Crunch into 5 original batter-dipped shrimp and 5 bold new Southwest Fiesta shrimp. 10 shrimp fries and hush puppies, just $2.99.
Gotta get a little Long John Salmon with Sun John. Shrimp 2 ways, we're the only one John. Gotta get a little Long John. Get a little Long John right now.
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. Look for the new Coors Light wide mouth can with a giant opening for a smoother pour.
A perfect 9 of 9 from the line and a half.
Robinson.
Change.
Kazam.
Change.
1-point game. Somebody else is going to have to step up and give them.
I am Kazam.
The catch. He's going to fire a 3.
I love this game. Woo!
Welcome back to Indianapolis Raceway Park and the DuPont 100. We're exactly a quarter of the way through. 25 laps completed out of 100. The leader is Irwin Jr., followed by Tony Stewart. And these 3 cars battling for position, but they are not on the lead lap. That is Gary Heber. And who else?
Eddie Bowie, or
Bill Bowie.
Bill Bowie. Eddie's his father. Sorry about that, Bill. And Kenneth Nichols is the 51 car. He's the 3rd car right there. So those 3 guys battling back. Here's the battle for. There's the leader.
Now they're moving through traffic, and I tell you what, they are doing some magnificent maneuvering, high, low, anywhere it takes. And now watch Tony Stewart. He may no.
Well, what's happening is Kenny Irwin remembers the last time when he followed these guys. We've seen it. We saw it when we were at break. He went through that lap traffic with no concern, man. He really went after him. But right now, he's going after him the same way because he knows Tony Stewart's right behind him.
Something just fell off his car, Larry. I saw it fly off of it right at the end of the straightaway. Don't know what it was. I don't know whether it's going to make any difference, but something flew off, or he ran over it or something because it went flying to the inside of the racetrack. Well, we'll watch it.
Well, either way, if he ran over something, he has a chance that he cut a tire, and if it fell over his race car, probably it's not going to be a good sign. So, but he has been going through the traffic. He really remembers the last time, taking it easy, being careful. Believe me, he's not doing that this time. He's going after him. And right now, he's really attacking the traffic right there as he's right behind Burke. That's Jackie Burke. He's right behind him, trying to get around him. And the danger there is he's running so far sideways, he might abuse the tire.
Yeah.
He can't get too rambunctious, too overeager, and mess up that tire too early, even though Stewart's right there, and he's willing to do it, baby.
Now Stewart diamonds off the corner and tries to get to the inside of Kenny Irwin, and he goes into turn 1. Not enough momentum build up to take the lead, and now Irwin... Yeah, he's going to do it
this time. I'll tell you what, he's not very happy with Jackie Burke right now because he thinks Jackie should have moved over, given him that position, not made him fight that hard. Took him about 3 laps to get around him. And I'll tell you, that was a lot of time for him to be using out that time. Let's go back and take a look at the battle for... There's Jimmy Sills. He's running in 3rd. There's 4th, 5th, and 6th right there. That's Robbie Flock in the back car trying to get underneath Danny Dryden. But look at Mike Bliss. He's going around him when he drops down. Bliss has done a terrific job running straight, and he knows how important it is to be running fast at the last. He hasn't done anything silly, but he wants to move up as fast as he can, so he's trying to drive a smart race, yet a fast race.
We've seen him do that so many times here at Raceway Park and at other tracks also. Just save the car, save the tires until it's time, and then make your move. But the problem is that there is so much distance now between himself and the leaders, he's definitely going to have a caution to close in that distance, but he did it here in May, didn't he?
Boy, he certainly did. And look at this. We're in traffic again. Irwin and Stewart battling the traffic. And look at this. He's caught down there behind Chuck Gurney, and that was told. We gave Gurney a little tap. Happened to run the bottom lane is not good. That's Pat Abel in the 65 car. They both just went around. But the good thing for Irwin is that Stewart is following. He's having to run the low group too.
And because because of all that, there's a little bit of racetrack now between first and second as Irwin came through the traffic just a little bit better. But Tony Stewart, now with clear racetrack once again, begins to close in. They just put a lap on the 39 car of Ryan Newman.
These guys are setting a blistering pace. These two cars are absolutely flying around the racetrack. And they're, when they're setting a pace like this, they're lapping a lot of very, very good race cars. They just went around Chuck, Gurney, Newman, Beechler, and so forth. So pretty amazing that they've lapped those guys already.
Jack Hewitt is still battling with Andy Mischer. They've been together ever since the green flag drop.
And he's been trying to get around him. Mischer just keeps hanging on. Hewitt, we've seen him win on the pavement before. This guy is not the smoothest guy in the world on pavement. He's the first to admit it. But I'll tell you what, he is usually pretty doggone fast. Right now, though, he's having trouble figuring out a place to get around.
And Mike Bliss has moved into fourth position, and you can see he's closing in on third place, the 75 car of Jimmy Sills.
Yes, he certainly is. That's it. He's way on the bottom of the racetrack. Clear down. The yellow flag is out.
The yellow is out. We have a car, looks like Dan Drine. It is slow here on the main straightaway, and the report is he bumped the wall.
Yeah, he's got a little white sidewall there. You can see it. He's shaking the car back and forth to see if it's okay. Drinen was slow enough. I think the handling was going away just a little bit on that car. And believe me, when Drinen is just now coming back off of that injury. So when the race car's not working, it's doubly tough for him to hang on and drive the race car. Not that he can't do it, but it's just a lot harder for him when you've been injured than it would be a normal person.
Yeah, Dan told us that he's been doing a lot of physical work on his upper body, but because of the broken bones in his hip and leg, he's been able to do any leg exercises, and so the legs are kind of weak, but not weak enough to keep him out of the car here tonight. And Dan Drinen has made a great showing in his return, and it may not be over yet. They're going to look at the suspension and the tires and maybe send him back out there.
As you said, he's done a terrific job. He's come back quicker than anybody thought he would, and you certainly have to give him a lot of credit. He was certainly fast enough. He certainly had all the moves down right. The stamina may not be quite what it could be. We don't know that, but it could be just the handling. But obviously he's hit a little too hard, and he's had too much of a problem to get the car back on the racetrack.
Yep, he's unstrapping and climbing out. And so Dan Drinen's return to racing has ended here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, but the race is far from over. We've got 60 more laps of competition in the DuPont 100, and we'll take a break and be right back with more.
If you're successful in the world of... So you're a sports fan. Baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. Heck, you even like bowling. So where can you go to watch it all? TK O'Malley's, that's where. Here you can grab a bite to eat. They offer a full menu featuring nightly specials. Relax with a drink, shoot some pool. And you can do all this while watching your favorite team. Now with a new location in North Dartmouth.
TK O'Malley, and all the good sports are here.
Hello, Cody and Fernandez Insurance. How may I help you?
Cody and Fernandez Insurance wants to help you understand your auto insurance. They'll make sure that you have the proper coverage and that you're receiving all the discounts you're entitled to. They offer evening or Saturday appointments for your convenience, either at your home, business, or in their office. They offer free registry service, low down payments, and quotes over the phone. Cody and Fernandez, serving Massachusetts and Rhode Island, located between Shaw's and Stop and Shop on Fall River's south side.
Immediately if statements like these are true. Mr. Gullible. ESPN News Network, the 24-hour sports news network from ESPN. Who else?
We have run a half a lap under green, back to competition after our first yellow of the evening, after a red flag interrupted the early going. Back to competition. Kenny Irwin, there he is, leading Tony Stewart off of the fourth corner. Jimmy Sills is running in third spot, and Mike Bliss is fourth. The most recent caution happened when Dan Drinen hit the wall and put himself out of the race.
Yeah, it certainly did. There's 11 cars still on the lead lap. We are at 44 laps right now, so only 11 cars left on the lead lap. That tells you how quick a pace these two front guys are setting. they still are just kind of running away from everybody else. Even though Jimmy Sills is running pretty quick and getting through traffic, along with Bliss, they are still a half a lap or half a straightaway behind already.
Let's talk to Dan Dryden. Dave?
Dan Dryden has climbed out of the car, obviously in some pain. He's talking with the crew about what happened. First of all, man, it's good to see you back. Hated to see it end that way. How did it feel up to the point where you hit the wall?
In the race car, it felt great. I mean, it hurts me more walking around than it does in there. I mean, the way the seat fits you, the comfort is there. It's a lot of support, and that's what my body needs right now. It's a shame. Calderwood put a great car under me tonight. Trying to, bide my time, wait a long race tonight, and started getting a little bit loose. We've got an onboard weight jacker. I tried to wind some weight back into it. We got in some lap cars that time. I got in the gray a little. Just couldn't get it back.
All right, we're glad to see you out. Take care of that hip. Dryden's okay.
Just a terrific battle for third place. Mike Bliss has gone to the inside of Jimmy Sills and taken over third, and Bliss is headed for the front.
That is why Mike Bliss is one of the best pavement drivers in the country. Did you see the move that he made? He started to the outside when Jimmy Sills got a little sideways split up in front of him. He just turned that baby left and went right on around him. A terrific move by Mike Bliss.
Now he approaches Paul Durant and tries to put a lap on him. That's Chuck Gurney. And we have a car slowing, and it's Tony Stewart. Stewart has slowed off of corner 4. Oh, my goodness.
Man, what a tough break for that young man. He was doing everything he had to do. He was right behind Kenny Irwin hanging on, but obviously a major problem. The car still seems to be under power, but a problem that he's not going to be able to continue. Look at Bliss in traffic now as he's trying to work his way around. That's Donnie Beechler right behind him. That's Chuck Gurney right in front of him. And there right behind him is Robbie Flock in that black number 94 as he gets sideways.
Flock has passed Jimmy Sills for that position. So Sills has lost 2 spots here in the last couple of laps, and cross flags are being displayed as we have reached the halfway point of this event. 50 laps completed and 50 laps down, and now Sills is right up on Flock again.
And of course, Robbie Flock was one of the fastest qualifiers here last time. He was on the front row. I can't remember whether he's first or second. I think his fastest qualifier ran very, very well until he had some ignition trouble and fell out of the race. He's primarily known as a midget dirt track driver on the West Coast. Had never run the pace until he came out here. But I tell you what, he does a great job in that car that he's driving right now, Carroll Hart.
And here is Jack Hewitt as he tries to maneuver through traffic. Look at the manhandling he has to do when he comes up on some slower cars, has to slide to the inside of the racetrack. Oh my gosh, he's low, high, everywhere.
Rocky Hodges was all sideways. He just turned that baby right and went around the outside of it. Man, look what a gaggle of cars we have here. That's Randy Tolsma and Gary Heber leading this pack up there, the orange car, and right in front of him is Davey Hamilton and the other car.
Tracy Hines has spun, and the caution flag comes out. Tracy Hines, who was the last car on the lead lap in 10th position, has looped it, and the caution is out. Dave, let's see what happened to Tony Stewart.
Tony has just climbed out of the car and is conferring with the crew over here, and we'll stick our head in and see if we can find out what happened. He had a shot at winning this thing. Tony, what went wrong?
I think it was the clutch. We've had some trouble tonight with it not engaging and disengaging right, and I think finally what happened is either it just finally wore the discount from where we were having to mess with it earlier to get it in the show, or else the splines gave up on it. He'd go about 3/4 of the way down the straightaway and then really rev the motor up high. So it's a problem that wasn't going to get better. It was just going to get worse, so we might as well just pull it in.
You've got 2 more shots at him with the truck in the Busch race. Can anybody do anything with Kenny Irwin tonight?
I don't know. We did. I mean, we had a bunch for him at the end. We were just trying to save the car for the end and save the tire, and I think he was saving a little bit too, but I saw him abusing his right rear a little bit, and I kept laughing every time he'd do it because I figured that's like taking a minute off his time. So I think we had a race car that could have won the race tonight, but he's running strong. I mean, if he runs the way he's running right now and the gap that we had between us and third place, I think he's got it in hand right now.
That's the opinion of Tony Stewart. Mike Bliss might say otherwise. We'll find out when we get back to green. We're under yellow at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Tony Stewart is out of the event.
And we'll show you the reason that we are under this caution. There is Tracy Hines, and this is what happened to him and the reason for the yellow. There you can see in the bottom of the screen,
he was just down on the bottom of the racetrack. Looked like he got in there a little sideways. Just did a little half spin and stopped there at the little pit road exit down there. between 1 and 2.
And now it is Kenny Irwin Jr. and Mike Bliss, who is running in second position. 56 of the 100 laps have been completed at IRP.
He doesn't know it, but I found this under his pillow. I flipped through these great pages on sports, fitness, adventure. Now I know where all the excitement in our life comes from. Men's Journal. He really cares about living life better. Men's Journal covers everything better, from the best in mountain bikes to fishing in Alaska, from rafting down the Colorado to building a better body. It tells him how to get started, where to go, and what to do when he gets there. Men's Journal shows him where to find the best of everything. And every issue tells him how to look better, be healthier, and build endurance. From toning up his abs to tuning up our sex life. Men's Journal tells you everything about living life better.
Hey.
Start doing it better. Subscribe now to Men's Journal for only $11.97 and get this 200-page equipment guide absolutely free.
Call 1-800-863-2500. That's 1-800-863-2500.
At Aramark, we know great things happen when people work together. When you're part of something bigger. When you take pride in how you look. When you know you're a team. At Aramark, we know great things happen when you put on a uniform. Aramark Uniform Services, America's largest uniform company.
Not many guys more important than a restart. This is one of the few. Jeff Gordon, just like old times here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Welcome back.
Oh, this is great. I tell you, it brings back a lot of old memories, and I wish I could get out there. They look like they're having a lot of fun.
Anybody going to beat Irwin tonight, you think?
Well, it looks like Bliss is coming on there, so, you know, I'm sure he's going to give him a run for his money like he did last time, but I hope nobody does. I want to see those E guys win this championship.
They're going to get mad if we don't get back to this race real quick. Who's going to win the Brickyard 400?
I can't say. I hope we do, but we'll see. It's going to be tough.
All right, good to see you again. Jeff Gordon, let's get back to the racing.
It is so cool to see a guy who has achieved so much in his career come back to his roots. Jeff Gordon is here watching tonight, and I understand he watches us every time we're on the air.
And, of course, he talked about the Eads guys. She's talking about the Eads guys that own that car, the 14 car, and that's the car that he drove when he ran the Silver Crown division. So he's wanting his former car owners to win with Kenny Irwin here tonight. He's still cheering for him, still keeps in touch with him, so it's good to see that he's still involved in all this kind of stuff.
Donnie Beechler is positioned between first place Kenny Irwin Jr. and second place Mike Bliss. Separating those two, there's Beechler in the red and blue number 67, and Mike Bliss is having a heck of a time getting by him, but is he really interested in doing so and wearing out the tires at this point?
Well, of course, Beechler's a lap down, and he wants, if he can get back around Kenny Irwin, he can gain that lap back, and on another yellow can get back to the back of the lead lap. That's what he's trying to do. And of course, like you said, oh, it doesn't look like Bliss ever wait too much longer now. He just drove that baby down in there and slid up front. So thank you, ma'am.
So we have set up now just exactly what we experienced in May when we were here, and that is a shootout possibly between Kenny Irwin Jr. and Mike Bliss as they are running first and second at the moment. Back in third position is Robbie Flock. Fourth position is Jimmy Sills. How about Jack Hewitt? Well, he doesn't have Andy Michener around anymore, but he's battling for position. That is Davey Hamilton to his left.
And he is in sixth position, and he's battling with Davey Hamilton. As we said before, Hewitt's not always the smoothest guy on pavement, but he always seems to be awful doggone fast. Whoa, look how close he is to Randy Tolman. As he gets around him on the bottom, he's not around him. He's right at the side of him.
They battle wheel to wheel down the backstretch. Now he gets around.
Now he's around it. But he's in sixth spot, and he keeps moving up. He started way in the back of this race. He started back in 14th spot, worked his way up to sixth, and doing a very, very nice job as he's worked his way up through there. That's a Ford-powered car, by the way, one of the few here. And, of course, Jimmy Sills driving a Mopar-powered car.
Yeah, most of the power plants are Chevy. We have a few Gurneys and some Ford, another Ford engine in the field. So a variety of power plants here.
Right, a variety of power plants. Earl Gurney, of course, is one of the premier engine builders of the Chevrolets. They're all Chevrolets, but he's just one of the builders that happens to build that kind of engine, and one of the best in the business. But right now, look at the battle back here. That's Dave Darling.
Yeah.
He also is on the lead lap, and he's just moving up, too, trying to get back in the thick of things.
Dave Darling Darlin, another guy that you associate mostly on the dirt, but he's done an excellent job in the pavement races that he's participated in.
Right, Eric Gordon in that yellow car, he's moved up also. So all of these guys still battling on that lead lap, trying to move up. I think Pat Abel is a lap down. Dave Darlin is still in front of him, and he's about in the 8th or 9th position right now.
Pat Abel is a super modified driver from Oswego. Somewhat similar type of race car, but then again, a lot different also.
He's in 7th position. You can see the bodywork flapping up and down on Dave Darlin's car over there. I believe that's just the bodywork that's moving up and down. I don't think it's anything that's real important.
68 laps have been complete here. The laps are one. Yeah, you can see that bodywork flapping there on the front end of that car. Oh, there's a good shot.
Hey, there's a great shot of it. Yeah, it's right on Dave Darlin's, the front of Dave Darlin's car. We got a camera mounted right up on the right front wheel, and you can tell very definitely that some of the body parts, the Zeus buttons that have hold it down have come loose, and that baby is waving in the wind.
Well, this car is prepared by Galen Fox, who's been around racing about as long as anybody can remember around here and had some great success.
Well, he certainly has. He's had a lot of success in this business. He's had a lot of great drivers. But, you know, right now it looks like Kenny Irwin is pulled away. And look at Sills. He's now moved back up. He's in 3rd position as we go on back. Robbie Flock's in 4th position. There goes Jack Hewitt. So, you know, a lot of guys still on this lead lap have just moved through that thing. Man.
What happened last lap was that Robbie Flock hit the wall up in turn number 4 just slightly, but hit it enough to lose the position to Jimmy Sills. There's the leader, Kenny Irwin Jr. He is pulling away from Mike Bliss. Mike just cannot keep the pace up at this point in the race with 29 laps to go. As a matter of fact, Bliss is going to have his hands full with Jimmy Sills in the next few laps. And Kenny Irwin Jr. in the wins car. Comfortable lead at the moment. This is the Dave Darlin onboard camera, and, well, we finally found Andy Michener again. There he is behind Dave.
He knows where the camera cars are. He's either going to run in front of them or back up, right?
That's right.
That's exactly what he's doing. But Dave Darlin right there, those guys are on the lead on the same lap, and they are battling for position. I think that's 7th and 8th position right there. Darlin and Michener still on the lead lap. But I'll tell you what, either Mike Bliss is slowing down or Jimmy Sills is really speeding up. But he has caught him in a hurry, and now looks like he's challenging him for that 2nd position.
Almost a full straightaway advantage for Kenny Irwin. And like I said, Bliss now has to worry about Jimmy Sills, who has picked up the pace considerably since he got around Robbie Flock. And there you can see Robbie running behind Jimmy. But Sills is in 3rd place and looking for 2nd. Sills, of course, was the winner of the race that we televised from Richmond International Raceway earlier this year.
Yes, and he's, you know, it's very unusual to have a Chrysler-powered, a Mopar-powered car in sprint car, midget racing, or any kind of open-wheel racing. In the last couple of years, though, they've gotten hooked up to Gary Stan. They've made very, very good showing. They've won a couple of races, and, you know, right now, he looks very, very strong. Robbie Flock, all 3 of those guys running for 2nd, 3rd, 4th position, and Robbie Flock, even though he went up there and just brushed the wall a little bit, he's very, very much in contention for this top spot.
Yeah, he now begins to close in on Jimmy Sills as Sills drops off the pace just a little bit and gives Bliss some breathing room. There is Robbie Flock, who comes all the way from California to the Midwest to run the Silver Crown cars. Robbie Flock is doing very well here tonight. He comes from Temecula, California, was the 86, 89, and 93 midget champion out in the Western States Division. His 4th place finish in Silver Crown competition at the Indiana State Fairgrounds in May was his best finish in this division so far.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, all of these guys are starting to feel the effects of their tires. I mean, we kept talking all night long about how important it was not to burn your tires, to save your tires, to have something last for the last 20 laps. Well, we're down to the last 22 laps right now, and it appears to me that all these guys are running pretty gingerly on those tires, and they don't have a lot left in there. And nobody can really save them enough to really make a big run at Kenny Irwin. He's been so fast, he had that thing set up so perfectly that it's going to be very, very tough for these guys to go after it now.
There's Chuck Gurney in the yellow car, and Chuck has not had a handle on things since the track opened for practice earlier tonight, and Gurney comes into this race 5th in the point standings.
And look at this.
Oh,
Jimmy Sills, when he got slowed up by Gurney just a little bit, they went up there, they looked like they were going to touch. I don't think they ever did. But right now, Bliss got caught behind Randy Tolsma. So, you know, he did a great job. Jimmy Sills did a great job. He saw the lap car. He went up there and trapped him and went on by. And I can guarantee you, Mike, Bliss didn't like that one bit.
So Jimmy Sills now takes up the pursuit of the leader, Kenny Irwin, as Sills has moved back to second position. He was second for the early stage of this race, fell way back, I think, to fourth or maybe even fifth, but has moved his way back up to second position now.
Well, he might have been the guy that was saving his tires. He might have just been running that thing soft enough, easy enough to save something for the last part of the race. Unfortunately, Kenny Irwin has got such a big lead right now, as we see right here. Here's Kenny Irwin, a whole straightaway behind in second, third, and fourth as they come around right now. And Jimmy Sills is going to have a heck of a time in the next 18 laps trying to catch up with him.
And Kenny Irwin Jr. has not necessarily been burning up his tires moving through lap traffic, so I don't think his tires are any worse than Jimmy Sills right now. He has a 5-second lead, and unless things in the next 17 laps go really wrong for Kenny Irwin, I'm not sure that Jimmy Sills can catch him. He may have a yellow.
It's going to take a yellow, or it's going to take a bunch of lap traffic that really messes Kenny Irwin up. And you can see right here that Kenny Irwin's trying to get through the lap traffic, and he's not being timid like he was the last time. He's not waiting on him. He's going right after him and getting by him very, very quickly, and hoping that the other guys are going to have to attack them equally as quick in order to catch him.
Well, he just put a lap on Heber. Now he tries to go to the inside of Dave Darland, and successfully does so. So he puts another lap on Dave Darland, and Kenny Irwin Jr. completes lap number 85. We've got 15 more laps to go in this DuPont 100.
He's driven an almost flawless race. Not only when Tony Stewart was pressuring him in traffic earlier, he could have lost his cool, he could have done something silly. He did not. He attacked the traffic. He got through it very, very well. And even when Stewart fell out, he did not lollygag around. He didn't just follow those guys around. He still attacked the traffic, remembering very well what happened last time when he did not do that.
Kenny Irwin Jr. has 3 Silver Crown wins to his credit. He has not won this year. He's looking for his first win of the series, although he does have the points lead at the moment, and he's got now 13 more laps to go.
Well, Jimmy Sills is close in a half second. He's only 4.5 seconds behind now.
And look how far Bliss has dropped back from Sills.
Yeah, I think Bliss has used his tire up. I think he's pretty well used that thing up trying to catch Kenny Irwin a little earlier. And I think right now it looks like Jimmy Sills is going to be the challenger as he has gained a half a second. But I'll tell you, there's not very many laps to go. And he's still got almost a full straightaway to go catch him.
Just 12 more laps to go for this guy, Kenny Irwin Jr., and he'll have the victory here in Indianapolis Raceway Park, leading off 3 straight nights of exciting competition that we'll have for you on ESPN2 tonight, and the next 2 nights on ESPN. The Cummins 200 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series tomorrow night, and the Busch Grand National Race on Friday night. Here's Dave Despain.
This is the car owner, Fred Eade. It's his car out front. Hey, man, you nervous or you happy? Oh, man, after the last race, anything can happen. We're got our fingers crossed all the way. All right, he's hoping for no replay of what happened here in the last race. That's the owner. His driver looks to me to be out of danger. That's Fred Eade. Kenny Irwin Jr. heads her for home.
He is indeed headed for home now with less than 10 laps to go. Things are looking pretty good for Kenny at the moment.
I got to tell you, though, in the last race, he had a straightaway lead with 2 laps to go, and it still got beat. And I'm sure he's thinking about that a heck of a lot more than I am right now when he's attacking this traffic. That's lap traffic. That is Jack Hewitt that he's getting ready to lap. And Hewitt is running up in the top 5 or 6 positions, I think.
Just passed Kenneth Nichols back there in the red car, number 51. 8 laps to go, and this one will be history. Let's look at the interval now. There's Jimmy Sills, and you can see it's again almost a 5-second lead, 4.97-second lead according to our unofficial calculations. Back inside with Jack Hewitt.
Yeah, Jack Hewitt's trying to keep up with him, just can't do it. And you know, Kenny Irwin very much has this thing. And oh, Kenneth Nichols got way sideways coming off of 4 down there as we see him. There's the interval back to Jimmy Sills, and he's holding right about 5 seconds. He's just not able to gain. He gained a little bit of traffic and then loses it when he catches that same traffic. And Kenny Irwin has just driven a flawless race, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to catch him at this point.
And remember, Kenny is going to head for Belleville, Kansas, and participate in the 19th annual Belleville Nationals coming up beginning tomorrow night as the United States Auto Club sanctions that event for the very first time. We're watching Eric Gordon there in the 25 car, and he's doing a great job.
He's working on Donnie Beechler right there. He has done a very good job. He's remained on the lead lap all night long, and right now running in about 6th position. He's in 5th position, we're being told, at this point. So he's up in 5th position.
Real good run for Eric, and may have a future in this car.
Well, I think he and Glenn Neibel are going to get along just fine. He's done a nice job. He kept the car nice and straight all day, all night long. And look at Hewitt working on on Chuck Gurney, baby. He was all over there. Look at that. He went down to the bottom. He's up to the top. But I said, thanks, man, for moving over.
Gurney waved him around, though. He said, go ahead and pass me. You're a lot faster than I am, and I'm not going to lose very much by letting you go around. Now, with 3 laps to go here,
there's first, there's second, there's still the 75 car. He's in second. We never did see Mike Bliss come by. He was in 3rd position. So there's quite a distance from first, second to 3rd. Robbie Block still running in 4th position. And then Andy Michener's actually running in 5th right now.
And Hewitt is about to get lapped. Look at Sills go to the high side of the racetrack and now diamond down off the corner as we've seen so much. And he successfully passes Jack Hewitt and puts him a lap down. But the big story is that there is a lap and a half to go for Kenny Irwin Jr.
Kenny Irwin Jr. done a great job. I'm sure he's much happier with this ride than he was the last time. He's not going to make the mistakes, although look at all the lap traffic that he's got in front of him.
Whoa,
what does he do now?
He doesn't want to make a mistake.
Oh, that's where he say that against the whole sideways.
Goodness, trying to get around Paul Durant. The car completely sideways in the second corner is not going to hurt his chances of winning, though. He's still going to pull off the victory, but man, oh man, what a chance he took there on the last lap. Here he comes off the corner. Kenny Irwin Jr. wins the DuPont 100. Jimmy Sills comes around and finishes in 2nd position.
Yeah, nice job by him. Look at how happy his guys are. I don't blame him. That kid did one heck of a job, and that wins M&L Plumbing car. That's a great, great victory for him after what happened to him here the last time.
And look, Mon, no hands down the backstretch. We'll come back and talk with him in just a minute. Mike Bliss finishes 3rd. Kenny Irwin Jr., your winner here in the first of 3 consecutive nights of racing at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Look at this. It's been only 1 year since we started, and already over 200,000 people are getting the perfect stomach with the 8-Minute Abs video. And to celebrate their success, we're going to make you an offer you won't believe. But first, look at these results.
I went from a flabby spare tire to a washboard stomach. Thanks, 8-Minute Abs.
8-Minute Abs is great. I pop it in, I'm done, and it works.
8-Minute Abs takes you through a series of simple movements scientifically designed to get you fast results. It takes just 8 minutes, and it'll tighten and trim your waistline.
I use 8-Minute Abs, and I recommend it to all of my clients.
I used to wear loose clothes to hide my tummy, but look, now I use 8-Minute Abs.
The secret to 8-Minute Abs is using the abdominal muscles in a specific sequence to maximize effectiveness. And that's why it works. It gets the job done in only 8 minutes.
If you've got 8 minutes and a VCR, you'll get great abs, too.
Call for your copy for $19.95 and we'll include a special $5 rebate coupon. That's right, it's just $14.95 with rebate. And we'll also include 8-minute buns absolutely free. Yes, you get everything for just $14.95 with rebate if you call right now.
Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So call 1-800-467-8800. That's 1-800-467-8800. Operators are standing by, so please have your credit card ready and call. 1-800-467-8800. That's 1-800-467-8800.
Tip of the Stetson to CarQuest Auto Parts for onboard cameras. To find your nearest CarQuest dealer, dial 1-800-492-PART.
All right. And look at that beautiful moon as we look at the top 5. Kenny Irwin, Jimmy Sills, Mike Bliss, Robbie Flock came on strong at the end, and so did Gordon. And it was a great race, really, but Kenny Irwin just had too much for everybody.
He had him covered. Dave Despain.
Well, no dancing girls, no bikinis, but we got a big smile on the face of the winner. He's not even going to dance for us, but Kenny Irwin Jr., congratulations. You got to feel like this makes up for May, huh?
Oh, it sure does. But I thought coming down those last 3 or 4 laps that it was deja vu or something, because the lap cars were there, and I mean, we just didn't have any tire left on the right rear. I don't know. It's great. It's great to come back and get it in the winner's circle tonight.
Real quick, you got it pretty sideways over there, too, on the last lap.
It was. Like I said, we just didn't have any tire left. You know, I got to thank Wins, everybody. Freddie is back in California. This is for you, bud. It's great.
Congratulations, man. A terrific job. We got to get out of here. We got a whole lot more racing coming up. But there it is. Kenny Irwin Jr. has won it. Freddie Jr. standing by for the celebration. We've got qualifying tomorrow from the Brickyard, 2 o'clock Eastern time, kicking off the whole weekend for Bob Jenkins and Larry Rice. I'm Dave Despain. Congratulations, Kenny Irwin Jr.
Cup champion, always parked first, so that's why I'm easing on out here to get in line, and then they'll line up by points from 2 weeks ago. So I think the 5 truck will follow me, and then the 3, and then so on and so forth.
Golly, you're going to have to back up when you got 10 acres?
Well, one of those deals. There you have it. There's the garage area, gasoline alley. Jeff always wanted to run the Indy 500, and he never thought he'd get a chance to run at the Brickyard because he's driving stock tires, and yet again, here we are.
Tonight, welcome you live to Indianapolis. NASCAR has arrived to prepare for Saturday's big race. Hello, everyone. I'm John Kernan, along with Winston Cup champion Jeff Gordon. Coming up on RPM tonight, practice opens for the Brickyard 400. But first, Dale Earnhardt looked like a fish out of water walking through Gasoline Alley in his street clothes, but considering his injuries, he looks pretty good. Dale spent a good deal of time talking to his relief driver, Mike Skinner, who may wind up qualifying the car on Thursday.
If I go out and practice in the morning and can run a decent speed to where, you know, it would get in the race, I may try to qualify. But if I don't run a speed that I feel like I can get in the race, you know, I don't know. Rich and I talk about that. That's something that Rich and I have to decide. When the car turned abruptly sideways, I knew I was going to hit the wall, and when I hit the wall is when I broke my sternum. And when the car got up on the side and got up in the air a little bit, it was spinning around. I seen a flash. Another car hit me at the same time, and so it was probably Derek. And then there was a big crash, and the car went airborne again. That's when I broke my collarbone and bruised my pelvis. And that was when the 33 car hit me. And then the car sat back down on the ground on its wheels and was spinning around. The 29 car went by to my left, and then a red car hit the front end. And I assumed at that point, from the replay, I couldn't tell much. It was either Schrader or the 94. And come to find out, it was Schrader. He said, "I seen you and I named for you." Bill Simpson's got some stuff that we're going to try and try to get comfortable in the car, and we'll be doing that this afternoon and in the morning, and just get where I can comfortably practice. But to say it hurts any less or any more, it'd be tough to say. I just know I don't want to hurt like this anymore.
Dale, what would you do to break up the packs at Daytona and Talladega? How would you do that?
Take the restrictor plate off.
What are you going to do if you keep down?
They don't want to go that fast, don't race.
40 minutes after Earnhardt finished speaking to the news media, the first cars took to the track as practice for Saturday's Brickyard 400 got underway. Jeff Gordon won the very first Brickyard 400, but he wasn't the first guy out on the track. We looked at Mike Skinner here. Not very good, 170, a little more than that. Ricky Rudd blew a motor and they were able to bring out a new engine. As you see the motor break loose right there. Morgan Shepherd, he was pretty fast in his Remington ride, had the guns all lit up, you might say. 174.064 miles an hour. 34 cars broke Gordon's old record. Dick Trickle in the 90 ride, 174.112 miles an hour. And Rick Mast for a while was the fastest at 174.629. Terry Labonte also clicked off a good lap, 174.5. He's Gordon's teammate. Rusty Wallace also in the 174.5 range. But the quickest on the day, Mark Martin, 174.965.
Today's practice has been a huge disappointment. We've been 10th, 12th, 13th fastest most of the day, and then we made a qualifying attempt and got a good lap. So I guess you never know until it's time to go what's going to happen.
Early on, we ran fast when it was hot and the hottest part of the day, and, you know, that's the time that really counts. So now we're just trying some things that we ran out of time in and testing and we didn't get to do. So we're just doing a little trial and error stuff now. We make a change, go see what it does, make another change, go see what it does. Some of them help you, some of them hurt you.
You know, they took those rumble strips out, and it's like a different racetrack now. To me, I mean, golly, you go in the turns, you got to hit each turn different. The marks are all different. Everything you got to do, you know, it's just a completely different racetrack. If you move up 3 feet, where we used to run in the groove, you know, then it's back to the same old Indy. But like this, it's a whole different deal.
Checking out the speeds today, as I told you, 34 drivers in practice on Wednesday broke the track record set by Jeff Gordon last year, 172.536 miles an hour. In the 7th spot, Joe Nemechek, remember in the Busch Series race at Talladega last week, finished 2nd after starting from the pole. John Andretti was quick, and a bunch of Fords up there, only a couple of Chevys in the top 10, although Greg Sack, Sterling Marlin, 11th and 12th in Chevys. And Mike Skinner, you notice he is not up there. Mike is well back, but I'm sure he spent most of the day just learning the track.
He's working with me. Dale's helped me a lot today. We're trying to get the car comfortable under race conditions. We haven't tried any qualifying runs. We haven't got a qualifying engine in, nothing like that. We're just running, you know, trying to run race-paced laps.
This track changes so much throughout the day, so it's really going to be hard to tell, especially compared to tomorrow, what tomorrow's going to be like. So you just got to run every lap just as hard as you can, and just get the car as fast as you can get it on no matter what the situation is as far as the racetrack.
We had 2 good days of testing. First day was cool, and car ran very fast, and the second day was hotter. So we learned 2 different conditions, and we've come back, and our test sessions showed up on the Remington Thunderbird.
It's really neat having 4 hours this afternoon to work on the car and get ready to go, because normally we got an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you don't get to try much. Today we're getting to try things, and that should really make a difference when we get ready to qualify.
Kyle Petty ran 33 laps. He posted the 13th quickest time in a Pontiac. Dick Trickle and Jimmy Donlevy's car, a pretty good run for him. Morgan Shepherd, 15th quickest, 174.064. As you look at the rest of the top 24, Ricky Craven, 24th at 173.531 miles an hour.
Years from today, when 79 stock car races have been run here, we'll remember the name. Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.
Well, of course, Jeff Gordon is with us. A great scene there, but today, Jeff, I look down here in 27th quickest. What's going on?
If I had known you were going to do all this recapping of the speeds, I might have run a little bit faster. Today really, you know, wasn't a real critical day. Everybody's trying to go fast, and we were too. But we didn't have our qualifying motor in, and you know, we didn't tape off and cool down. A lot of guys did do that later in the afternoon. When we qualify tomorrow, it's going to be right in the middle of the day. It's not going to be 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're waiting for tomorrow to click off our good laps. Hopefully we've got something for them.
Yeah, we see that we mentioned 34 cars broke last year's track record that you hold. Do you think that many tomorrow, or is it possible everybody's going to break the record?
I would imagine just about everybody will, because they resurfaced the racetrack. Even though there are some patches that we see down in the corners now that have slowed us down from test speeds, the track is definitely faster still from when we were running here last year.
When they've repaved it, took away the rumble strips, does that change the way you actually get around the track?
Yeah, I think that helped make the track a little bit faster. Also gave us a little bit more room to work with. I think it's going to make it better for us in the race. We'll be able to have a little bit more room maybe to get a move underneath the guy or get some momentum to pass the car. But I believe that that has also helped, because it's weird at first, because like the first couple laps you drive down in there, you want to run the old line, and then you realize that you can actually move down about 1.5 feet.
with the win at Talladega last weekend, you now take over the points lead for the first time this season. And when you think about the way the year started out, I mean, that's pretty amazing. I mean, are you guys building that momentum just like you did last year?
Well, we're trying to. You know, I mean, the most important time to be leading the points is at Atlanta after it's all over. So, you know, even though it's important to work your best all year long, try not to lose any points at any time in the season, you know, we just couldn't control certain things that happened to us, and we went all out to try to make up those points. And, I mean, we're pretty shocked that we're where we are. I mean, Talladega was a big turnaround for us, but, you know, Dale and Terry, they had, you know, some pretty bad misfortunes, as we saw earlier, and we were one of those few that came out of that unscathed, and we're able to capitalize on it, and now we're in the points lead. Now our job is to try to stay there for the rest of the season, which is not going to be easy to do.
Yeah, 2 years ago, you won the very first Brickyard 400, storybook ending, you know, the hometown boy winning the big race, the very first race here. How big of a boost to you in your career was that victory?
Oh, gosh, that was a huge race for us. You know, I'd only won one Winston Cup race prior to that at the Charlotte Coca-Cola 600, and I mean, I wanted this race so bad because it was an inaugural race. I'd raced so much around Indiana, went to high school here. I knew a lot of people were really going to be pulling for us, and, you know, that adds a little bit extra pressure, but we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I don't think, you know, my life in many ways has been the same since, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the rest of this year. You know, Terry Labonte, your teammate, is also battling, and you guys, that team that along with Ken Schrader, you guys work together. Now that you and Labonte are, you know, 1-2, how much will you two work together?
Oh, we'll still work together. You know, there's certain racetracks where having teammates can really benefit you when you're on the racetrack, and then there's certain racetracks where you just really can't do a whole lot. But especially drafting together, we worked together at Talladega last weekend. Schrader and I, you know, tried to work together as often as we can, but they're great guys. I mean, they share information. Terry and I are parked next to each other in the garage, and we'll share information, what each other's cars are doing, what kind of RPMs we're turning, things like that. And so there's a lot of payoffs, but you've got to be able to benefit from it, and you've got to use it to benefit. You know, guys that go out there that don't get along with their teammates, or team members that don't get along with each other, it'll never work. And right now, Rick Hendrick has a perfect situation.
Yeah, it sure looks perfect right now. I want you to hang on. We're going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back, talk a little bit more with Jeff Gordon. But when we do come back, we will also check out the equipment that Simpson has made to make Dale Earnhardt more comfortable in his race car.
At Citgo, when you team up our super premium gasoline with our Super Guard motor oil, you'll get all the high performance and reliability you demand. So, prepare yourself to be totally blown away. Super premium performance. Citgo says go.
So, what would you do to save a buck? If you want to save a buck, get to Taco Bell for the $1.99 Extreme Value Combos. 4 new meals, like 3 tacos and a refillable drink, each a buck less than some burger combo. $1.99 Extreme Value Combos. The more you eat, the more you save.
There's nothing ordinary about it, Taco Bell.
Hurry into Pep Boys, where right now you can get any 4 all-season 35,000-mile tires for just $109. Any size, any 4 35,000-mile tires in stock, $109. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
Put 700 of the world's most powerful horses together, and what do you get? You get out of the way. The Budweiser Ken Schrader stock car. See you at the races.
He didn't pay. They never do. Now Snickers is even more peanuts. Tons of them.
RPM Tonight is brought to you by Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes. By Citgo, just get up and go. Citgo says go. And by New Miller Beer, the brand new beer from Miller with big flavor that goes down easy. Checking out more of Wednesday's practice time, VW 25th, 173.420. Jeff Burton, of course, we mentioned Jeff Gordon, 27. Bobby Hamilton, Wally Dallenbach, and Robert Presley rounding out the top 30. With the type of injuries Dale Earnhardt has, there are a couple of major concerns. Number one, if he happens to crash, he doesn't want to complicate his injuries further. And number two, he needs to feel as comfortable as he can in the race car. And of course, there's basically only one person to go to address those concerns, and that's Bill Simpson. There are a number of things that Simpson has put together to help make Dale Earnhardt more comfortable. This, Bill, what, goes around like this?
Yeah, and then it'll be laced up like a shoe, and we can either close it or open it depending on how comfortable Dale is and whether or not he even wants to wear the thing.
And what's that for?
Well, it's to just give him a little stability in the chest area, and then I understand Dr. Trammell and Dr. Ogilvie are making a piece that'll go in the middle of his back to expand his chest, and this will try to hold it together.
Okay. And what else do we have now for the broken clavicle? How are we helping fix that?
What we're going to do to address that problem is we have two different densities of what they call NASA foam. This is what the astronauts use in their couch when they get shot off into space in the Challenger. And what we're going to do with this, and we'll determine which one. It will go on the shoulder this way, and we'll either have a piece of all carbon fiber that'll go over the top of that, and then a harness.
Notice I
Can
don't
you do that?
every day.
Okay, cool. Anyway, this will go this way, and they're making a provision in the car for this to pull down directly, and that, according to those doctors, will take the pressure off of this broken bone.
And that also, this foam helps that too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it molds to the shape.
It molds to the shape of your shoulder. And then, of course, we have this piece running across the sternum. And what will happen is, since he won't be able to tighten this as tight as he would like to have it, this one he will be able to. If something should happen, he won't come out of the harness.
Well, Dale tried out those pieces after we talked to Bill Simpson. The thing on the shoulder, it's going to be about 3-4 inches wider. He's also going to use some more of that NASA foam and put it right in here. Now, Jeff, you talked to Dale today. What kind of feeling do you get from him? You think he might try to run the whole race Saturday?
Oh, you know, Dale's a tough guy, and it was funny because, you know, I saw him for the first time, and I went up, you know, and he stuck his hand up to shake it, and, you know, his left shoulder is what's hurting him. And so instead of shaking with his right hand, he said, I'm going to shake hands with the left one, the one that's hurting. I want to show you that I'm doing okay. So he's doing just fine, and, you know, I tell you, he's pretty determined, and I believe, you know, once he gets in there, we'll find out. You know, it's tough to get in and out of those cars, regardless if you have any pain or not, but he's a tough guy. Somebody was asking me, well, you know, what's it going to be like with Dale Earnhardt not being in the whole Brickyard 400? I said, hey, when I see him get out of it, then I'll believe he's getting out. And until then, I think he's just as much a threat right now as any time.
Hey, let me ask you, you know, when you were racing the open wheels, I mean, we see those cars crash all the time, and I mean, did you ever break the clavicle?
You know, in the sprint cars and the midgets, you can flip pretty violently, and usually when you break, you know, the collarbones, when you come down on an impact, of course, he got hit from the roof, so that's what caused that. And I've had some bruised up ones really, really bad, but I've been pretty fortunate. Our big thing was that the rear end would always come up and hit the bottom of the seat and knock the bottom of the seat out. So you'd have pains elsewhere in the back of your legs, your tailbone, everywhere else. So I've been pretty fortunate in race cars, though.
And yet you still, after all that, and you see what happens to Earnhardt, you guys get right back out in the race. You're not normal as a race car driver. I mean, because I don't think I would, after seeing what happened to Earnhardt on Sunday and knowing what you guys have been through, how do you do that?
Yeah, but I tell you what, if you really want to look at safety aspect of it, I don't think there's any other race car that could have taken a crash like that and even survived. And so NASCAR Winston Cup racing is very safe, especially the speeds that we're going at. But we are tightly bunched up on a lot of those big tracks, and that tiniest little mistake that somebody can make can cause a big accident like that. So, you know, hey, I'm a race car driver. I mean, he's the one that went through it and still wants to get back in the race car. That shows you, you know, how determined a race car driver is.
Well, I know you're determined to have a good run on Thursday during qualifying and also on Saturday.
Hey,
and
thank
congratulations taking over the points lead.
Appreciate it.
Jeff, thanks for stopping by. Anytime, just come on by.
I'll do that.
All right, when we come back, Benny Parsons will be here to tell us who he thought was impressive during Wednesday's practice sessions.
Silver Bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. Look for the new Coors Light wide mouth can with a giant opening for a smoother pour.
Portachilla.
It's the perfect way to carry drinks for people on the go.
Portachilla.
Now you can keep cold beverages right at your fingertips. No bulky coolers, no leaky ice bags.
Portachilla.
It goes wherever you go. Just freeze the inner freezer packs overnight, and you're ready to keep beverages ice cold all day long.
Portachilla.
Call 1-800-589-6116 to order Portachilla. Makes a great gift. Call now. Use your credit card or send check or money order to order Portachilla now.
A lot of action over at Indianapolis Raceway Park Thursday night. It's the NASCAR trucks. Friday, the NASCAR Busch Series on Dakota 200. And tonight, live on ESPN2, it's the USAC Silver Crowns. For more on what's happening over at IRP, here's Dave Despain.
All right, Kernan, I know you think you've got the best gig at Indy over there all week at the Brickyard, but I believe I have the best job in Indianapolis. IRP with 3 big races. We're going to cover them all on ESPN, and that means we're going to see a lot of this gentleman. Mr. Mike Bliss joins me. Not only is he the latest man to win in the truck division, but he's also the last guy to win on this racetrack in a Silver Crown car. You and Kenny Irwin banging wheels across the finish line. Pretty spectacular. Got something like that in store for us again tonight?
I sure hope not. I hope it's me out front and there's nothing else happening except the checker flag at the end. That was exciting, and I think tonight you're going to see an exciting race too.
The obvious question, will tonight's Silver Crown experience help you tomorrow night when they run the trucks? This place has changed a little since you were running here every week.
Yeah, you're right, it has. We tested here a couple weeks ago with the truck. It's changed, so tonight's going to help tune me up for tomorrow night, and I hope I can use that for an advantage.
Got some pretty good momentum going in that truck thing after that big win last week.
Yeah, Barry and the crew gave me a great truck last week. We're going to try to take ASC forward to here and have a little advantage, just run the Silver Crown car tonight.
Practice, the victory dance, I think it's spectacular. Perhaps the greatest thing I've ever seen on television. We'll have Bliss for you tonight live at 9:30 on ESPN2 as the Silver Crown cars attack Indianapolis Raceway Park. Back to you, Mr. Kernan.
Thank you, Double D. You got some exciting open-wheel action over at IRP for this evening. That's later on ESPN2. We've got some exciting open-wheel action for you on Open Wheel Wednesday from Williams Grove, Pennsylvania. We open things up a wild ride for Ted Baker. Over the fence, he was okay. To the feature, Jesse Thomas in the white car on the pole, but Bill Bryan Jr. takes the lead out of 2 down the backstretch. It looked like smooth sailing, but Lance DeWeese in the 461 goes at it with Bryan. Finally takes the lead on the 17th lap, and DeWeese would go on to the victory. Bryan Jr. finished second. RPM Tonight is coming at you live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We will be right back after this.
Unbelievable. Double your excitement, double your fun. Now there's 2 TK O'Malley's to serve you. There's 2 times the sports and 2 times the great food and 2 times the fun. Delicious appetizers, great big sandwiches, daily blackboard specials, and a wide variety of winning circle pizzas. Come, relax, play pool, and have fun at the only place that's too good to be true. TK O'Malley's in Fall River and the newest TK O'Malley's on Route 6 in North Dartmouth.
All the good sports are here.
Hello, Cody and Fernandez Insurance. How may I help you?
Cody and Fernandez Insurance wants to help you understand your auto insurance. They'll make sure that you have the proper coverage and that you're receiving all the discounts you're entitled to. They offer evening or Saturday appointments for your convenience, either at your home, business, or in their office. They offer free registry service, low down payments, and quotes over the phone. Cody and Fernandez, serving Massachusetts and Rhode Island, located between Shaw's and Stop and Shop on Fall River's south side.
just didn't want to think about it anymore. But I didn't want to do anything until I knew I could get the look that I wanted. The most important thing to me was the hairline. It had to look natural.
Hair Club for Men is proud to announce a technological breakthrough. Call our toll-free number now to receive your free copy of Hair Club's exciting new technology brochure.
I just love the idea that I can get out of the shower, towel dry my hair, blow dry it, and I'm gone.
So call now and get Hair Club's new technology brochure. You'll see before and after photos of men like yourself who have already experienced the benefits of this innovative technology.
I'd seen too many people that had tried surgery or products that promised to grow their hair back again. I wanted something that was simple, non-surgical, that would give me the results that I was really after.
Call our toll-free number for your free brochure, because Hair Club for Men really can make a difference.
My son insisted we try America Online. I said, what's in it for us? Now I know better. America Online makes our lives easier. It saves time and money, too. Look, I'll show you. Welcome. I don't mind saving for retirement anymore. I can research mutual funds, chart all my stocks, and do my banking all from home anytime I want. And there's more. Scan hundreds of magazines, get sports scores, enjoy hobbies, even shop online. So call this toll-free number and get everything you need to make your life easier and more fun.
RPM Tonight is brought to you by Tinactin. If you want a medicine that acts tough, get tough-acting Tinactin. And by 1-800-COLLECT, the way to save on collect calls. Both Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon have won the Brickyard 400. Find out who takes the checkered flag this year live Saturday afternoon starting at 1 Eastern. It's the 3rd annual Brickyard 400 on ABC. Finally, Al Unser Jr., the president of the Championship Drivers Association, presented Becky Brayton with an annuity that will pay for the college education of her daughter, Carly. Becky is the wife of Scott Brayton, who was killed in a crash during practice for the Indianapolis 500. And that's going to do it for now. We're back here Thursday night with pole qualifying for the Brickyard 400. Good night, everybody.